Hi guys, I hope you're well. Welcome back to my channel, The Sustainable Diaries. Today is such a beautiful day. It's so lovely. I'm gonna get ready to go on my walk. Literally about a week ago, England opened up their non-essential shops. So to celebrate, I thought I'll do a video of 10 tips thrifting but sustainably. So yeah, we'll get to it now. So the first tip, utilize the clothes you already have in your wardrobe. So it's really key that you look through your wardrobe, explore your cupboards, look at your death piles before you go shopping. The whole point about sustainability is learning to recycle, reuse things that you already have. I love this Japanese organizing expert, Marie Kondo. She really looks at the value of having items in general. So an item that means something to you. And if it doesn't mean something to you, if you feel like, oh, actually, I haven't worn this in ages, I don't think it suits me and who I am and my personal style, let me move it on. So instead of throwing it away, swap it with your friends, donate it, give it to charity, give it to somebody that's going to use it, or create it into something new. It doesn't matter what you do with it as long as it doesn't go into the bin. But I always say, look at what you already have, because you'll be surprised. There might be tops, nice summer tops, or just tops that you haven't seen in a while. Just make sure that you've done that process of looking at what you've got, because that will give you a clear view of what you need in your wardrobe. I also like the term capsule wardrobes. I'm going to do my best to try and explain what that is. So a capsule wardrobe is when you have like maybe 20 to 40 different items. They could be tops, trousers, skirts, dresses. And what you do, you can swap items to mix and match to create different styles. And the whole point of a capsule wardrobe is that you don't spend or buy any other clothes or items or garments. So this could be a great opportunity to start your capsule wardrobe and to get rid of the things that you don't necessarily need. When I say get rid, I mean go to charity shops or donate. Tip number 2, remember your reusable bags. When you're thrifting, obviously to your local shops or businesses or wherever you're going, remember your bag. I mean, people have said to me, oh, I forgot my reusable bag. I need to go and get a new one. It's so easy. Just think of all the touch points in your life, the car, your bag, your front door. Put a reusable bag there. It's so simple. Like that's what I had to literally teach myself. Like this is what I need to do in order for me to remember my reusable bag. I have a massive cotton bag. This is actually a present. The thing is with cotton, there's conversations about how cotton, obviously in general, it uses up a lot of water. This is actually organic cotton. I was looking earlier. It says it's organic cotton, which is great. I'll do a whole video about organic cotton. And it also says that they champion fair wages and stuff like that. So that's quite good actually. I didn't even realise that before. But yeah, I think always have a reusable bag. Obviously the benefits to this is it's cost effective. In the UK to get a brand new bag, I think it's 10p to 20p. Obviously it's better for the environment. And the third thing, you're saving on like resources, of making virgin plastic bags. So that's pretty much it. So tip number 3, shop with a budget. So I would tell this to anybody. It doesn't matter if you're thrifting or if you're just going on a shopping spree. Shopping with a budget actually stops you from buying more than you need to. This point is just so self-explanatory. I like to shop with a budget because I know that I have other things that I need to save for or other things that I need to buy. But like I said, it kind of stops me from buying more unnecessary like clothes and items that I don't need. So that's tip number 3. Tip number 4 is obviously shop at charity shops, vintage shops, boutiques, handmade, small businesses. You're helping the slow fashion movement. You're helping the handmade industry. And I think if you make that conscious effort to think, I don't need to go to that fast fashion brand. I can actually get something unique, something creative, something different, from those shops. And I can actually support a cause, especially those Goodwill shops and charity shops. You're supporting a will, you're giving back to them. So I always say tip number 4, think about charity shops or slow fashion type shops before thinking about high street fashion. Tip number 5, as well as that, shop local. Not only is this good for the environment, because shopping local for me means I can just walk down, it's saving my carbon footprint. Also, I might use public transport. it's actually better in terms of just cost saving as well. You're not spending loads of money on petrol or diesel. So it's really quite important to look at shopping local. If you're shopping online, it's good to shop obviously domestically, because you're just saving so much money. You're reducing your carbon footprint. You're helping in terms of the environment. So I always say shop local. Tip number 6, compare prices. So if I put my consumer hat on, and at the moment don't think about other things at the moment, I like affordable items. I like things that are cheap and cheerful. And although I have this mentality of like stuff that's affordable, obviously that doesn't mean that I, will pay for something knowing that somebody's not paid properly or somebody's not paid correctly. And that's why sometimes me with my consumer hat and wanting to get the most cheapest thing ever, it's sometimes conflicting with my other values. That is like, let's pay full price, let's pay more in order to help those that are in need and need to be paid correctly. So I have conflicting views about this, but I will still mention it. I do compare prices. I used to be, and still am, a reseller. I resell vintage hoodies, so I always have this mentality when I'm going around the shops. I'll look on my phone and I'll swipe through, and I was like, okay, I can get it cheaper here, I can get it more affordable at this other secondhand shop. So I think if you're thinking about your personal wardrobe and you haven't got enough money to, get that nice top that's in that thrift shop, then definitely compare prices. There's nothing wrong with doing that. But I think there is a massive conversation about paying full price or paying more for more sustainable items or garments. I think that is a conversation that needs to be had. And it's a big conversation because it dips into things like what can a person afford versus worker being paid correctly. So yeah, that's a bigger subject, so I've kind of gone on a tangent there but I think you get the drift. So number 6, compare prices if you want to for your personal wardrobe. Tip number 7, timing is absolute key. I used to work at a charity shop, and when I used to work at the charity shop, I used to look after like the clothes being out on the shop floor. And what I noticed is that we had like a rotation system. Obviously we need clothes to move out, to be sold. And that's the whole point of a charity shop. They want to raise the money to help that cause. So we used to have like a 4-week rotation. If the item didn't sell by the 3rd week, we will reduce the prices. And I used to think, oh, this is just my shop just does this. But actually, most of the shops do this. So I think sometimes timing is key. Get to know your local charity shop or Goodwill shop, and just understand that there's a rotation, there's stuff going on. And if you want to get the best prices, that's one way of doing that. It's not so much sustainable, but I think it's just a tip to look out for, especially if you're thrifting for your own stuff. So tip number 8, look out for holes, stains and tears. So with charity shops, especially the ones that I've been in and I've worked in, it's difficult to keep an eye on everything. And let's be real, some people are nasty. They don't wash their stuff, they put it straight in the charity shops, and they expect the charity shop workers to mull through all these things that could be dangerous, disgusting, just ridiculous basically. Not everything is always, they do the best that they can, and they probably have better systems. The last time I worked in a charity shop was 10 years ago. I remember that sometimes, we'll spot something with a hole in it, and not everything goes through, sometimes things fall through the net and it's sold to the customer with a hole in it or something wrong with it. So I always advise people, before you think about throwing it out or returning it, make sure, look at other alternative ways to repairing it. You might want to sew it up, you might want to seal it up another way, you might want to give it a wash before bringing it back, or see what you can do or what you can recreate. I always say, like, try and avoid returning things back. If you're making that journey back on yourself, you can probably sew it up. And I think we should have this mindset that we're trying to recreate and we're trying to repair things that we get. So that's tip number 8. Tip number 9, look for biodegradable materials. So materials like that could be cotton, bamboo, hemp, linen, wool, and maybe not silk, because that's not a vegan material, but those are kind of biodegradable materials. The benefits of biodegradable materials, they decompose in much less of a time. So compared to synthetic materials that take thousands and thousands of years to biodegrade, cotton, for example, that's not treated, may take 5 to 10 months to biodegrade, which is really good. So always look out for these like natural materials. and avoid polyester. But as I always say, you know, sometimes you can't avoid these materials if it's already been made. As long as you're purchasing from a pre-loved or secondhand store, it's okay. But, you know, we want to try and avoid those if you want to be a sustainable thrifter. And then tip number 10 is wear it with confidence. So about 10 years ago, my mum used to take me to the charity shops all the time. And I used to buy things like from Nike and Adidas, Reebok from the charity shops. And I used to go to college and everybody would be like, oh, that looks nice top. And I'd be like, yeah, I went to Nike store. Complete and utter lies. I never used to go, you know, I never used to admit where I used to get my stuff from. But we are now living in a world where it's okay to talk about, you know, that we got our stuff from pre-loved store. It's okay to mention that we got our stuff from a charity shop or from Depop or eBay. So let's really like celebrate that. Let's like be confident with it. And I think that's an important tip. And a bonus tip, so I'm feeling good today, I'm going to give you an extra tip. Tip number 11 is promote longevity. So once you've got your great items or garments, hand wash them, hang them up properly, make sure you repair them. If you don't want them, send them to somebody, give them to somebody else, donate it, I don't know, swap it. Just keep this circularity going. Support slow fashion. It's so essential to the whole journey of fashion. And I think fashion, in some designers' point of view, back in the day, probably now it's changed, was very linear. It's very like, I've created this asset or created this item and it will be used by someone. But now we have to think about circularity in fashion, and slow fashion champions that. The whole movement of slow fashion is a champions this motion of circularity. So if you really want to take on this journey, and obviously like I said, no journey is perfect, but if you do want to take on this journey, think about once the clothes are done, what can I do with it after? So yeah, those are my 11 tips, and hopefully they have been helpful. Obviously there's tons of other tips that I could have included and mentioned, and I'll probably do other videos on that, but please comment below, share, like, and look out for my other videos. So yeah, see you later. Hopefully it's sunny where you are. I'm going to go for a nice walk, and I'll see you later. Bye.